A musty scent enraged my senses. Ugh. Sparks flew through my brain. My vision shook from side to side. Someone was calling me. For some reason, my right wrist felt particularly cramped. Trying to move it sent stiff waves of pain down my spine. I could feel a cold sensation against my rear. My whole body felt sluggish. I tried to stretch my leg muscles. Where am I? We were surrounded by the drab walls of the prison. Trying to move my hands resulted in nothing but the sound of iron. My arms dangled at an angle such that I could not move them. I stared down at myself blankly. My wrists had been fastened with iron cuffs, which were connected to the wall by chains. Both my arms were restrained. Oh, Nachan. Glad to see you again. I looked around at everyone. I'm the only one in chains? Her fingernails were stained red with blood. Hey now, your fingers have better things to be doing than that. What about you? She forced a smile. One-chan calmly explained the situation. What about Isono and Kyoko-san? He might have been able to get away somehow. I see. So basically, I had failed. I had made the wrong move at the very end. Only Natsumi still held hope. Someone was approaching the prison. The door swung open with an unpleasant sound. Damp air poured into the room, with Hosuke Masaomi right on its heels. He must have been confident about the fact that he was stealing only with the 4 women. He had no regards with him. His gait was perfectly natural. Yo, Pops. Where are we? Would you mind letting me out? Oh yeah. And what's with that cane? You don't need it, do you? One-chan gradually advanced towards Hosuke. Don't do that, One-chan. But my warning was too slow. Hosuke Masaomi beat One-chan's leg with his cane without mercy. I shot him a murderous glare. One-chan fell to the floor, clutching her leg. You're telling me that I'm adopting too convenient of a mindset then? Natsumi suddenly rushed in front of One-chan to protect her from Hosuke. Stirred by Natsumi's courage, Sachi and Toka spoke out against his actions. They criticized him simultaneously. They criticized him even though his very presence should have paralyzed them. He spoke casually. It was clear that he had treated them with derision. And then he raised his cane. He swung down at One-chan's side again. The 3 of them had thought that they would be his next target. Shock compelled them to silence.
脳を痛みだけに支配されるのだ。
I actually have no doubt about that.
光弘もぼやいていたではないか。体調が悪くて絵が描けないのだと。王ねもお腹が痛くて機嫌が悪いと森田に文句を言っていたではないか。
あれは
日向など髪を掴んでやればすぐ屈服する。そして樋口リリ子だが、
Hosuke looked down at One-chan.
この7年間私が最低限の生活の世話をしていた。一日に一度は食事を与え、季節の変わり目には衣類も用意してやった。そうだな。何度も風邪をこじらせていた体の弱い女だ。だから殴りつければすぐに黙る。7年も孤独に耐えきった人間が殴られただけで黙る。これが現実なのだ。そうだな、樋口リリ子。
One-chan held her stomach, enduring the pain. She spoke raggedly while facing the floor.
なんだ。
One-chan immediately raised her head.
見ないでって言ったのよ。
But it would seem that Hosuke had expected this reaction.
実に格好がいい。だがそれも今だけのこと。みんなの前であるし、憎き私も目の前にいる。まだまだ体にも余裕がある。
Turn around.
弱さという種に暴力という水をじっくりとまいて、慎重に花をめでるように時間をかけてゆっくりと貴様らを構成させてやる。
As he left, Hosuke sent a look my way. He wanted me to surrender above all else. Na-chan, please look after One-chan. And thus our life within the cold and dim prison began. About 2 days had passed since Hosuke had last made an appearance. No sunlight reached us, but I was able to roughly discern how much time had passed via my internal clock. We huddled together to sleep, knowing darkness all the while. One-chan, are you alright now?
ケンこそずっと座ってて地にならない？リリコさん、まだはしゃいだらダメですよ。
One-chan had spent all day yesterday vomiting in agony.
抜け穴はないみたいだね。
So not even your keen eyes can find us a way out of here.
風が通ってるとか、ちょっと石壁の脆そうな部分とか、そういうの期待してたんでしょ？
Yeah, I hear you. They always end up digging a tunnel to escape in those prison break SF novels.
あと、あれだよね。出された食事で鉄格子を溶かしていくんだよね。
Of course. There weren't any bars to melt here.
おーい！腹減ったぞー！
She kicked at the iron door, replete with energy. We had been given only water for the past 2 days. Hosuke was attacking our bodies through starvation.
うわ、いきなり現れないでよ。
おお、元気がいいのは光弘だけか。
Hey, I'll dance for you if you want me to. You gotta take these chains off of me first, though.
じゃあ、私がダンスの相手を。私も踊れるよ。私と踊ろうよ。
なるほど。この中で一番弱い人間はやはり森田だな。
What was that?
薬を断ってもうどれくらいになる？
So that was his angle. He moved to stand directly in front of me.
5年だ。
What's this?
私と樋口三郎がここにいた期間だ。
5年って、そんなに長い間閉じ込められてたっての？
Wait, that would mean...
そう、三郎も諦めたのだ。革命家に憧れ社会変革を熱望していた青年も一度はここで屈したのだ。
Did you give up as well? Hosuke shook his head, neither confirming nor denying my question.
森田はもっと早く諦める。麻薬のせいで体が言うことを聞かなくなるからだ。
So So you overlooked my use of it for this purpose.
それ以外にどうして特別公当人が犯罪を容認する理由があるというのだ。
Wow, you got me. It's really something. I had no idea. For a moment, a chill ran down my back. 5 years, huh?
ではまた様子を見に来るとしよう。
ちょっと臭い飯くらい出しなさいよ。
人間は3日くらい何も食わなくても死にがしない。もちろん体力のない人間は危険かもしれないが。
私のことかしら。
分かっているなら話は早いな。
And then he struck her with his cane as if it were the most natural action in the world.
おお、もう怒鳴り声を上げたか。これはいい。森田が諦めるまでおそらく1ヶ月もかかるまい。
He was beating her leg again.
大丈夫よ、ケン。落ち着いて。リリコさん。
Natsumi shielded One-chan with her body.
こいつはね、私が怖いの。7年も義務に耐え切った私が。だから私に暴力を振るうのよ。
その通り。この中で一番厄介なのはまずお前だ。次にひなたか。
Kozuki's cold eyes shifted from One-chan to Natsumi.
やめてよ。もう出てけ。私たちは絶対あなたみたいな人に負けないんだから。
Natsumi grandly placed herself in front of Hozuki. Her posture seemed to say, if you're going to hit me, then go ahead and do it. She was taking a stand against him. Hey, Hozuki, look over here for a minute. You said my dad held out for 5 years? Then I'll do it in a month.
1ヶ月で値を上げるというのだな。
I stared at Hozuki. No, I'll escape from here within a month.
ケンちゃん。
Hozuki gave a thin smile, then turned his back to me.
手が震えているのにか。
出て行けったら。
Hozuki strode majestically from the cell. Oh,
ケンイチ、大丈夫なの？
don't worry about me. What about One-chan?
私は平気よ。
いや平気なわけないじゃん。ガチンコで足をやられてたでしょ。
Yeah, he's actually just been beating up Ruriko.
折れてはいないわ。わざとそういう殴り方をしているのよ。ちょっと痛むだけね。
Natsumi, who had kept quiet until now, finally spoke up.
ひどい。
Her voice trembled.
でも大丈夫だよ。ケンイチが何とかするって言った時は絶対何とかしてくれるもの。その通りじゃん。
そうだね。ケンちゃんなら。ケン。
Everyone else was growing excited, but I was staring at the ground. Yeah. I raised my head and took a deep breath. Leave it to me. Man, these eyes of expectations, dude.
よーし、今日もビリッと頑張るぞ。
A day had passed, I think. I remained in my sitting position.
ケンちゃん、頭でも痛いの？
No.
ちょっと何変態チックな息を吐き出してるのよ。キモーい。
I know that's probably not what Toka said. Hey, it was funny, right?
さっちゃんは元気ね。
Oops. We still had not been fed.
絵描いてる時ってさ、飯食わないんだよね。今そんな感じに精神を集中させてるんだ。能天気なサチが今は頼もしく思えるね。
Hozuki appeared, accompanied by the creepy sound of the door.
うわ、また来たの？あんた実は超暇人なんじゃないの？言っとくけどね、それ以上近づいてきたらぶん殴るよ。私実は超強いんだからね。私もカポエラやってたんだよ。 よ。
I think that was a typo on Capoeira. Her eyes were deadly serious despite her joking tone. Hosuke approached Sachi.
絵を描いていると腹が減らんのか。
そうだよ。なんか文句あるの？
にわかに信じがたい話だ。だが現実にはそういうことが起こりうる。集中力がなせる技というわけか。
Hosuke looked over Sachi.
マナという少女の行方を知りたくはないか。
He spoke to disrupt her concentration.
教えなよ。
Her calm vanished in an instant.
今は大変なことになっているそうだ。
もったいぶらないでよ。
お前のせいではないか。お前らは重大な勘違いをしているようだから教えてやるが、マナという少女がこの町を去ったのは私のせいではなく、光弘のせいではないか。
Sachi, don't listen to him.
絵はできなかったのだ。
Sachi's eyebrows twitched. Regret began to creep across her face.
怠けていたのだ。マナや森田があれだけ期待していたのに、光弘が怠けていた結果、絵が完成しなかったのだ。これは変えることができない過去であり、逃れられぬ罪だ。
だから私は今毎日絵を描いて。そうよ。サチは頑張ってるんだから。
けれどマナはもう帰ってこない。瓦礫の山に覆われた廃墟のような王国に奴隷として飼われたのだからな。
そんな。
貴様らは過去を忘れ、前向きに未来だけを見るような子供の理屈を振りかざすが、世の中には決して取り戻せない過去もあるのだぞ。
さっちゃん。大丈夫だよ。こいつの話なんて嘘ばっかりなんだから。
Hosuke nodded in satisfaction. Apparently, Sachi's reaction had been quite telling.
それから大根10日だが、
何よ。
Toka crossed her arms and stood in front of Hosuke, as if to protect Sachi.
お前の母親の親権者適正研修が一度中止になったことがあったな。
私のせいだっていうの？私がお母さんを研修に行かせたことを責めようっていうの？
That was a pretty sharp response for Toka. I'm sure that she harbored feelings of guilt for what she had done to Kyoko-san deep within her heart. Hosuke would not attempt to drive a wedge between parent and child, though.
お前のせいで莫大な税金が浪費された。それを追及する。研修のキャンセルによって用意してあった施設の借り受け費用やインストラクターの人件費が全て無駄になった。
そんなこと私に言われたって。
税金というのは国民がみんなで出し合う金のことだ。これくらいは知っているな。
子供扱いしないで。
It was obvious that he was.
お前のせいでどこぞの家庭の食卓から晩ご飯のおかずが一品減ったかもしれないのだと言っているのだよ。お前のせいである父親は娘にプレゼントを買えなくなったかもしれないし、お前のせいである母親は新しく子供を作ることを断念したかもしれない。
そんな私そんなとこまで考えてなくて。
Calm down, Toka. No one would ever think about things like that. Toka was too kind for her own good.
どうしよう。
A cry of hesitation escaped from her lips.
大根の優しさなど所詮は目に見える者たちだけに与えられるものなのだ。そういうのを世間で何というか知ってるかな、大根くん。偽善者というのだ。
A voice arose as Toka began to retreat.
ごちゃごちゃとねちっこいわね。
Hosuke complied with that voice's suggestion.
安心しろ、貴様は殴るだけだ。
やめて。
Hosuke brushed Natsumi aside and began striking One-chan again and again.
まだ医師に診断を受けねばならないほどひどい傷ではないな。
やめてください。
Natsumi grabbed Hozuki's arm. She did not fear touching Hozuki.
一度は社会に絶望した分際で随分と胸を張ってるな。
She glared silently at Hozuki. After a while, Hozuki shook off Natsumi's arm.
食事を与える。
After Hozuki left, several portions of bread and soup were pushed through the window of the iron door.
ひどい。同じところばっかり。
Onei-chan attempted to stand up, but crashed back down upon the floor.
リリコさん、無理しちゃダメです。
Na-chan, please take care of Onei-chan. I leaned back against the wall, my breathing ragged.
ほら、ご飯が出たわよ。みんなで食べましょうよ。
そうだね。ほら、どうかも。しっかり食べなきゃね。
Don't worry about my portion. You guys just go ahead. I struggled against my chains. I was restrained in such a way that my possible range of movement was very small. My rear had begun to hurt, so I placed my toes on the ground and assumed a squatting position.
ケンちゃん。
Yeah? I need to move around a little, you see.
どうして笑ってるのかなって。
Yeah. I was just thinking that you need to smile at times like these.
じゃあ、私がケンちゃんに食べさせてあげるね。
Natsumi found my smile infectious. Sachi's face also loosened a bit.
やっぱケンイチはこういう時でも強いね。私が食べさせてあげてもいいけど、モテるわね。
Seriously, I don't fucking want any.
ケンちゃん。
そんな怒鳴らなくてもいいんじゃない？
My lips wouldn't stop shaking. Yeah. What do you call it? Anorexia, I guess? Right now, smoke seems a lot more appetizing than food. This time, no one smiled. Everyone stared at me. Their shock plain to see.
とにかく食べれるだけ食べましょう。
It was most likely the next day.
さっちゃん、いつもの号令をお願いします。よーしって。
よーし、ビリッと頑張るぞ。
Starvation must have sapped her strength. Even Sachi was beginning to look less energetic.
なんだか寒くなってきたね。
そろそろ秋ですからね。急に寒くなる日もあるでしょ。
That's right. It was autumn outside right now. Na-chan, can you have a look at Onei-chan? She looks like she's in bad shape.
ケンイチも決まってるね。
Sachi joked around a bit. I'm not gonna voice that.
受けすぎだって。
No, enough about me. Onei-chan. Na-chan already had her hand against Onei-chan's forehead.
熱が。
Damn it. I lashed out wildly.
ケンイチ、ちょっと落ち着いて。手首から血が出てるよ。
Toka looked very concerned. I ignored her.
ケンイチ。
ケン、いいから。少し黙りなさい。
I strained against my chains. I forced my head against the wall. Natsumi stopped me.
ケンちゃん、
She gently grasped my struggling hand.
ケンちゃん、頑張ろう。
I allowed my body to slacken. After a while, I raised my head back up. It's alright. I won't lose to this. I spoke clearly.
信じてるよ。
She gave me a smile. Now, come on. Onei-chan looks cold. Let's all huddle together and warm her up. I was kept company by the cold and by One-chan's groans for quite some time. Alright everyone, wake up. They were all huddled around One-chan. Upon hearing my words, they began to stir into wakefulness. Alright, it's morning. Listen well. I'm going to explain the plan. Everyone looked at me expectantly. I've actually been taking careful stock of our situation. First off, there's a keyhole in these cuffs. We don't have the key, of course. Pops is probably carrying it. This means that I cannot move. There are no secret passages, air ducts, or the like in the cell. There's only one way in or out. That iron door. Everyone nodded. So, when does that door open?
ほおずきが入ってきた時だけね。
I agree. I do not believe it would open at any other time. We must aim for the moment when he enters the room.
危険すぎないかしら。ほおずきもそれは分かっているのだから。室内に入ってくる時は警戒しているはずよ。
There's still value in trying. We even have a weapon.
武器
Yeah. Take the belt out of my pants. The instant Hosuke enters the room, use it as a whip and lash at his face as hard as you can. Oh my god, dude. I cuffed him.
ムチか。
Pops made this prison real nice, but he forgot the uniforms. Guess I can't call him a true SF maniac.
よーし私がやってみるよ
I don't think this is a good idea.
いいえ。ムチといえば私でしょ。
One-chan's pale face flushed slightly.
じゃあ私がほおずきをひるませるから。その時みんなで一斉に襲いかかりましょう。
Toka and Natsumi looked a little confused at first, but then nodded. I don't think this is a very good idea. I'm counting on you. Aim for his eyes. Sachio removed my belt and passed it to One-chan.
あの怖い人だってそろそろ油断しているかもしれないしね
Toka went to squat near the entrance. Sachio and Natsumi followed suit. One-chan stood near the front of the door and closed her eyes to focus her hearing. Now we just had to wait for Hosuke. But no matter how long we waited, he never showed up.
I 今どれくらい日にちが経ったかわかる人いる
Toka inclined her head, confused by the situation.
私の体内時計ではちょうど15日だね
17日では多分20日だと思うけれど。
まあいいか
I struggled against my chains once more.
ケンイチちょっとうるさいって
I told you it's exercise. If I don't do this, I'm not going to be able to act when the situation calls for it.
そんな切れることないじゃない
Sorry, but I have a bit of a headache. Don't speak so loud, especially with that damn echo. Damn him. Why did he suddenly decide not to show up?
ひょっとしたら外で何かあったのでは。
A possibility.
ありえるわね。
Her chest heaved painfully. She was nearing her limit. Her fever seemed to have vanished, but her breathing was rough, even when she wasn't moving. We needed to hurry up and end this. Hurry up and get here. In answer to my prayers, footsteps began to approach the door. One-chan grabbed the belt and took a stance near the entrance. The steps came to a halt. Our tension was palpable. However, what opened was not the door, it was the food slot.
ご飯か2日ぶりだね
The door suddenly swung open.
やはりな
Hosuke appeared in the doorway. He caught One-chan's arm, taking advantage of her surprise. He wrested the belt from her by force. Wrested? Yeah, wrested. Then threw it at Sachi and Toka. The two of them screamed as they fell to the ground.
私がなぜ森田のベルトを奪わなかったのかそれはつまり 一つの希望を絶望に変えるためだ。
Yeah, exactly. This guy is too smart for his own good, man. Hozuki spoke to Natsumi.
期待すると裏切られるだろ
And then he turned to me.
う。これも思考を指定していた結果だ。
Damn it. So I had been too careless.
まずったわね。
リリコさん、
そして私がなぜ樋口リリ子だけを必要に痛めつけるのか。それはこの場で最も体力のない人間であるからであり、森田の姉であるからだ。
Tears began to fall from her eyes. She didn't want to cry, but her body could no longer withstand the pain. Because she's my sister?
肉親を痛めつけられれば私に屈するのも早まろう。
My mind was going blank with rage.
血は繋がってないんだけどね。
Hozuki ignored One-chan's remark, preferring instead to bring his cane down upon her once more. Sachi and Toka came forth to stop him, only to be met with blows to the stomach. Hozuki then went back to his mechanical beating of One-chan.
さて話せ。パスワードを。
Password. That's when I realized that the memory stick that should have been in my pocket was gone. Hozuki had examined me earlier, leaving only my belt.
パスワードを言え。言わねば殺す。まだ女は3人いる。1人ぐらい死んでも構わんだろう。
I recalled the truth of Hozuki's fearsomeness once more and trembled. I'm not gonna voice Ken when he's crazy, man. I just can't do all those, screamy, crazy stuff. You could call this the security police at their finest. Completely unjust and inhumane torture.
何のことかしら。
頭を殴れば即死だ。私はいつでもお前を殺せる。
Why was Hozuki so convinced that it was One-chan who knew the password? One-chan spoke before I had a chance to ponder my doubts.
忘れちゃったわ。
That's very true. But then again...
おお、お
That's
前
true,
がパス
actually.
ワードを握っているのだ
Oh.
な。
Oh.
よろしい。忘れているはずがない。お前の記憶力は先日の演説で証明されている。早く言え。
Very easy manipulation there. But why? How did you know?
この中の誰かがパスワードを知っている。何にせよ樋口リリ子を拷問にかければ仲間の誰かが口を割る。
He explained it casually, then resumed beating One-chan. She vomited blood onto the floor. A faint red color made its presence apparent. I suddenly felt more anxious than I ever had before. I began screaming incoherently. Just then, however, Hozuki's cane came to a stop in midair.
今日はこれまでにしておくとしよう。
Huh? He was not looking at me, but at Natsumi. Natsumi was fighting a battle with Hozuki that involved no physical contact.
陰りが見えるな、ひなた。意志はあるのに体がついてこない。そんな目つきだ。
Hozuki moved, his face closer to Natsumi's. His words flowed into her ears.
夏は終わった。ひまわりも枯れていく季節ではないか？
He left. Sachi and Toka crouched silently upon the floor. One-chan lay beside them, convulsing in pain. Frustration and unease began to fill the prison.
Minna, 大丈夫？
平気ですよ。
One-chan seemed unable to respond. She clearly required a doctor's care. She was leaning against the prison wall, clutching her knees, She trembled as she stared down at the floor.
ケンちゃんしっかりして。
そうだよ。私たちはケンイチだけが頼りなんだからね。
I know. Don't worry. I forced myself to move my body, parading it as I did.
ちょっとリリコさんが。
Her breathing had been extremely haggard a little while ago, but now it was nearly undetectable.
何よ。聞こえているわよ。
She lifted her head for only a moment. I need to hurry. I need to hurry up and save One-chan. That's right. What about Isono?
磯野くん？そうだよ。磯野は？磯野が助けに来てくれるんじゃないかな。
I spoke, my hands shaking. Nachan, do you know anything? He was supposed to look after you, right? You were the last person to see him, right? Natsumi hesitated a bit, then spoke.
磯野くんは警察の人が来ると私より先に山の方へ行きました。
Went on ahead.
それって夏美を置いて逃げたってこと？
違うと思います。
きっと何か作戦があるんだよ。
Sachi bit her lip. She was ashamed of herself for suspecting Isono, but at the same time, she could not completely sweep aside her doubts. Anyway, in our current situation, I don't think it would be any good to expect his assistance. I wasn't sure what things were like outside, but there was no way that Isono could infiltrate this place by himself. It had taken 6 of us to do the job originally. The light in One-chan's eyes was still as powerful as ever. But her body won't last though, probably. As crazy as Hozuki is, he makes a very good point that humans' weaknesses are their flesh. That's like the easiest weakness of anyone. It most likely happened during the night. Everyone else was asleep, you see. One-chan called out to me, her voice uneven. What is it?
トラック本当にやってたのね。
Yeah, I'm sorry.
どうして？
I was at a loss for an answer. Because my mind is weak.
戦争で覚えたの。
I nodded, feeling apologetic. I can't believe that Hozuki would end up using this.
辛いのね。
One-chan, are you doing okay yourself? One-chan? One-chan suddenly gave a weak smile.
私がこんなに弱いとは知らなかったでしょ。
No, you're strong.
本当に忌々しいわね。体って。今ケンのそばに行くことすら叶わないなんて。
I'll save you.
次にほおずきが来たら私はまずいことになるかもしれないわ。
Don't say that.
でも決してパスワードは言わないから。大丈夫。お父さんの作った暗号はあと5年は破られないわ。あれは私たちの武器よ。決して渡さない。だからお願いね。何があってもほおずきに屈しないで。
Ah, sorry. I don't know about that, man.
お願いね。何があってもほおずきに屈しないで。私の体がなくなっても 意志だけは残るのだからね。
No. I hate it when people say stuff like that. Carry on your will or whatever. Piece of shit druggie like me isn't going to be able to manage something like that. My head's starting to hurt. I'm starting to see things I don't want to see. My head was in a place far above the clouds. One-chan continued watching me silently.
さて尋問を再開する。
We were all sitting on the floor when Hosuke entered the room.
みんなだいぶ囚人らしくなってきたな。
Natsumi stood up slowly and spread her arms out in front of One-chan.
出てってください。
そろそろ終わらせようと言っているのだが。
出てってください。
どけい。
どきません。
They continued glaring at each other. I knew that Hosuke could beat Natsumi's face in with his cane at any time, and yet I could do nothing but sit and watch.
ほら、私がご指名なんでしょう。
One-chan painstakingly rose to her feet. The tip of his cane pierced One-chan's flesh.
やめてくださいって言ってるでしょ。
Natsumi finally shouted. Toka was numb with fear. Even Sachi's eyes were averted.
もう限界のようだな。
さあ、それはどうかしらね。
しかし瞳にはパスワードだけは絶対に吐かないという光が残っている。私にはわかる。お前は秘密を抱えたまま犬死にしていくタイプの人間だ。
へえ。じゃあ私を殴るのをやめてくれるのかしら。
お前を殴らなければ日向が殴られることになるのだが。
本当にド S ね。あなたとはお友達になれそうにないわ。
I had a naive vision of breaking my chains with anger alone. One-chan received a beating so fierce that she could not even yield.
本当のことを言おう。パスワードなどどうでもいいのだ。なぜならそのうち森田が改心し私に情報を喋ってくれるのだから。
He had given her a death sentence. One-chan screamed again and again. My chains remained firm. I shouted repeatedly.
ほら、森田が従順になり始めたぞ。
I could not contain my fury, and yet all I could do was cry out pitifully, even though One-chan was being abused before my very eyes.
ようやく分かったか。では、全てを諦め、私に従うというのだ。
ダメよ。
My hands and feet no longer felt like they were attached to my body. Following Hosuke's orders would mean surrendering to society. It would mean that the time I had spent with the people in this town would become meaningless. But friendship and pride cannot be substituted for life. One-chan, the girl who had protected me since I was little, was going to die before my very eyes. My kind sister was... The girl who had been alone for so long was... I began to speak for the sake of protecting my sister's life.
危うく殺してしまうところだったな。殺すわけがなかろう。森田の弱い心が壊れてしまうかもしれぬし、樋口リリ子を殺してしまっては、森田が私に恨みを抱き、国家に忠誠を誓わぬかもしれない。
Hosuke smiled blackly.
それは本当の意味での屈服ではない。
The girls had a collective intake of breath. They feared the monster in their presence. The monster that could be described as society incarnate.
こうして大切な人間を生かさず殺さず痛めつけ、ゆっくりと人間の意志とやらがくじけるのを待つとしよう。 しかしそれももうすぐのようだな。
I'd been about to submit to him, but Hosuke himself had stopped me. So basically, the sadist was playing with me. After Hosuke left, Natsumi called out to me. I ignored her. This is bad. I might not be able to get out of here. I don't recall saying anything, but their disappointed gazes fell upon me nonetheless. I squirmed uncontrollably. I knew I must have appeared grotesque, but I did not stop. One-chan was on the floor. She could barely move. Sachi and Toka had sunk into depression. Natsumi stood nearby, holding my hand, but I could feel no warmth from her. They rarely delivered us meals now. The air in the prison was as cold, as musty, and as unpleasant as always. The sense of oppression we felt grew larger and larger each day. I was delirious. I repeated the words drugs over and over. The wind blew. A stench reached my nose. A man was walking upon a stone floor.
やはり小説は小説でしかない。こんな場所に閉じ込めておくだけで罪人が更生するとは思えんな。顔を上げろ森田。今日で1ヶ月だ。
My throat was stuck.
締まりのない顔だな。初めて私と出会った時よりもひどい。
I opened my mouth, only to find that my lip was split. It hurt.
極限状況下においてはやはり女性の方が強いものだな。
ケンちゃんは絶対私たちを守ってくれるんです。
だそうだがどうだ森田。欲しいのか豚。
I nodded.
ケンちゃん。
I shut my eyes.
水広。7年前逃げた豚がここにいるが何か感想は？今皆が苦しい。劣悪な環境で飢えと寒さに耐えながら状況を打破するべく頑張っているのに樋口県は薬のことしか考えていない。
ケンイチ。
Sachi's hoarse voice reached my ears.
それでも私はケンイチを。
Sachi.
素晴らしい。では次に王ね。お前は仲間を見捨てて逃げ出したような男に子供扱いされ、親の罪を暴かれ、偉そうに説教されていたのだ。よく見ろ。あのどうしようもなくだらしがない顔。
Toka remained silent for a moment, but then spoke. She had made her decision long ago.
ケンイチを信じてる。
Toka.
では当然、姉も弟を信じていると。
うちの弟を舐めないことね。
One-chan.
ケンちゃん大好きだよ。
Natsumi. I could see their faces through my closed eyes. I had sworn that I would defend them, that I would no longer run away, that this was atonement for 7 years ago. But I had already reached my limit. I couldn't watch these girls suffer any longer. I'm sorry, everyone. A strange impulse filled my body. I could no longer deny it. I think the rest of you have reached your limit as well. Shocked expressions met my eyes. I averted them. You know, the eyes of the Sunflower Girls were really pure. If you are confined here much longer, One-chan is going to die. No one said anything. And above all, this is unavoidable. There's nothing we can do about this. Summer draws to an end, and winter comes. But I mean, summer will come to an end, right? Like a wheel. It'll just keep on spinning. Dad. He gave up too. So I'm sorry. Again, I recalled the events of 7 years ago. I'm sorry, everyone. The girl's precious to me. I couldn't do it after all. Their hopes and expectations vanished. My dry laughter spread through the prison cell. I continued laughing with my eyes rolled back into my head.
薬が欲しいのだな。
Yes. I answered submissively.
よろしい。
The cuffs binding my arms were removed. Eh?
私の声が聞こえるか。薬が必要なのだろう。ほら、立て。
I did as I was told, leaning against the wall. You have drugs? Oh my god, Kenichi.
そうだ。
I couldn't stop laughing. That's some happy news.
そうだ、もっと喜べ。結局はこうなる。いくら人の意志が強かろうとも、肉体を精神が凌駕するなどありえんのだ。そうやって私も、三郎も諦めたのだからな。
I'm just no match for you, Mr. Hozuki.
ケンイチ、本気なの？
This guy.
こんなことって。
It's a good thing I came with you.
お願い。
The mysterious power coursing through me took full control of my body. I could no longer hear their voices. I abandoned my body to the violent impulse.
森田健一、これで特別高等人の試験を終了とする。
My beloved teacher put his hand on my shoulder. I was just so happy. You pretended to have a bad leg in front of me this whole time, didn't you?
そうだ。森田健一は7年前から社会の歯車に組み込まれていたのだ。
What the hell? Something had reached the boiling point.
ん？
So I went ahead and let it explode. You're not the only one, Pops. Everything happened in an instant. I grabbed Hozuki's arm, restraining it in midair. My foot caught the back of his neck, preventing him from drawing breath. I caught my breathing and proclaimed something to Hozuki. Looks like you played your final move incorrectly. Hozuki did not attempt to move. He had realized that he could not escape. That leaf that I'm always smoking? It's just an herb. Well, it does help you relax a bit though. I've actually taken quite a liking to it.
なんだと？
You're going to tell me that you read up on it, right? Did you look it up on a book? The internet? Did you ask some trivia-loving acquaintance of yours? Well, it doesn't matter. That stuff's just common knowledge. Not seizing the grass I always carried with me was the cause of your defeat. In the world of ours, there are things you have to experience directly. Things that you need to touch and feel before you can understand them. Using your body.
全て演技だったと？不意に笑い出したり、たまに頭のおかしな発言をしたりしていたのも全て？ありえん。お前は南方風葬で心を病んでいたはずではなかったのか。軍の記録にもそのように記してあったし、実際貴様も。
I knew that I had overcome Hozuki Masaomi once I heard him trying to use the past as a foothold. Don't give me that, Pops. This is reality, isn't it? I'm pinning you down right here, right now. Is that not enough for you? Hozuki fell silent, ashamed of his little slip of the tongue. It's over, Pops. It's your loss.
私を倒したとしても、この町から逃げられると思うな。
Yeah, I know. Your private army is blocking the entrance, right?
貴様らを見たら、すぐに射殺するよう命令してやる。
I appreciate your consideration. Don't worry, though. We'll show you that we can get out of here. Hozuki fell silent for quite some time. I stared at his face. I caught a glimpse of his eyes. His eyes, which had always been cold, they were glowing with a strange light. A light that spoke of his abandonment of everything. I guess for a while at his profile.
やってみるがいい。
After saying that, he shut his eyes. Sachi and Toka followed Natsumi to my side. They all clung to me.
信じてた信じてたよ
Her eyes were moist. She touched my body again and again, seeking to confirm that I was truly here.
やっぱり健一は最後には何とかしてくれるんだね
You mean an anime guy, Sachi. And that's exactly correct. You know, I watched a review of this game like a couple of years ago. And I have to say, the guy who made the review made me laughing. Because, like, basically what Hozuki did was pull an anime trap card, right? Basically a Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap card. Or, you know, an Uno reverse card. And then Kenichi did the same thing about his stupid drug addiction. Freaking anime at it again. I've been able to come this far because of these girls. Alright, now let's get out of here. I ran up to One-chan's side, hoisting her onto my back.
ごめんね
It's fine. I looked back down at Hozuki. He was unconscious. Is it alright not to kill him? I asked my sister.
好きにしなさい
And after I said all that crap about killing him,
分かってるあなたは優しい子だもの
I'm an idiot, so I always try to look at things in a positive light. The reason why Pops picked me up 7 years ago was...
彼がお父さんとお友達だったからでしょうね
She entrusted herself to my back. I was fine with this. I didn't know if this was the truth, but I was going to do what I thought was the right thing.
行こ
Natsumi took the point position, opening the iron door. Sachi broke out into a light run. Toka followed after Sachi with a smile. We left the prison that had confined us for a month. I started running, spurred on by One-chan's warmth. I started running so that we could escape this wheel country. Hey, name drop. Or, you know, title drop. Hello again, night sky. You're looking as boundless and black as ever. This way. They must have never dreamt that we would escape. There were almost no guards patrolling the inside of the school. Once we climbed the stairs to ground level and cleared the guard post near the prison door, we had a straight shot to the outside. Is everyone okay? One-chan was fine since I was carrying her, but I was concerned about the other three in terms of stamina.
うまだまだいけるよ
Sachi stretched, bracing herself against the chill of the wind.
外はやっぱり気持ちいいね
ケンちゃんどうするのどうするの
They still seem pretty spirited though. However, we have been confined for a month. Even I was stumbling here and there. I examined our surroundings, hoping to discern the situation. I could hear an alarm sounding in the distance. There were police vehicles parked all along the road. That meant that the security police were still swarming the town. That they may have already known that Pops had been done in. You know, I had to hand it to Hozuki's management skills. It wasn't easy to get your chain of command to function so well without you. That's true. They had been ordered to shoot us dead on sight. This meant that Pops had foreseen the possibility of us escaping from the prison. Nah, he probably just had this plan in case we won through some stroke of luck.
ケンどうやってこの町から脱出するというの
One-chan asked me a question while still clinging to my back. I took a look at the three other girls and then spoke. Before we run away from here, there's something I need to confirm. Right now, we are wanted criminals. I doubt we'll be able to live peacefully in this town. No, in this country. I want you to think back to the Amnesty Festival. I looked at Sachi's slightly haggard face. Sachi, you told me that you wanted to go live in the city because you can make more money there.
そうだね。
Toka, you said you wanted to go to the cities so that you could learn how to cook.
ただ、
And Nachan, I hesitated. She had told me that her parents were working in the city.
私のお父さんとお母さんはもういません。
Her lips were slightly blue. So basically, you guys no longer have any reason to leave this town. As for me, well, I do admit that it would be nice to live in the town where I was born and raised. The three of them nodded. They were taking my words seriously. On the other hand, though, I think that we can make it no matter where we go. We had acquired that strength. So I'm thinking we should leave the town for now. Maybe we can return here sometime soon, but right now, it's too dangerous for us to stay here. Are you all okay with that?
いいよ。
Sachi agreed without hesitation.
街の外に出てマナを探しに行こうよ。
Alright, leave the finances to me.
私もケンイチについていくよ。
Toka smiled, wiping away her sweat. Thank you.
ケンちゃんに任せるよ。
I doubt Nachan would have trouble having fun anywhere.
私は当然賛成よ。都会の方が今後の活動もしやすそうだしね。
Now that I could be certain of everyone's determination, I gestured in a certain direction with my chin. This way. There's a very special escape route. Just then, we saw security police moving within a school. If it were daytime, we probably would have been treated to an array of beautiful autumn colors. A harsh wind blew through the forest.
まだ走るの？
One-chan squirmed a bit on my back. Hosuke had beaten her within an inch of her life. The vibrations of my feet upon the ground were probably enough to cause her pain. But we couldn't afford to take a break here. I looked down the mountain path. The lights from their flashlights were faint, but numerous. This wasn't good. Those guys were right on our tail. The person here with the most stamina was likely Sachi. Carry One-chan.
どういうこと？
I'm going to stay here and stall them.
ケン、足止めはいいとして、私たちは。
There's a cliff ahead of you, yeah? I looked at Natsumi. I want you guys to head there and wait for me.
ダメだよ。ケンイチも一緒に行こうよ。
Shut up, you idiot. This is all because you damn lazy commoners can't run to save your damn lives.
ふざけてる場合じゃないでしょ。
でも、ここでのんびり話をしている場合でもないわ。行きましょう。
Atta girl, Nachan.
ごめん。それしかないんだね。
Toka understood it as well.
よーし。お姉様はちゃんと私が背負っていくからね。
That's the energetic type for you.
すまないわね。
She slipped off of my back. Alright, everyone. Catch you later. Nachan glanced at me before leaving. Leave it to me. My only equipment was a gun I had stolen from a guard while escaping the prison. I hid in the bushes and focused my hearing. A plant nearby began to rustle. A guard carrying a flashlight in his right hand came into view. He was alone. He tried to walk right in front of me. As soon as I saw his defenseless back, I forced power into my knees. I lunged at him from behind and pinned him to the ground. I restrained his right arm and pushed my gun against the back of his head. And then I questioned him. You know a woman named One Kyoko? She's a school teacher. She got into a little trouble at the checkpoint a while ago. She was one of the people inciting that riot too. You've heard of her, yes? If I didn't ask this, Toka would not be able to leave the town in peace. Where is she? Where did you take her after the riot? I hadn't expected him to talk that easily. Did you take the prominent people here outside of town? Talk. I spoke in his ear in the lowest voice I could muster. I can't give you much more time. I bent his arm so far back that I could almost feel it. I'm asking you if Kyoko-san is still in this town or not. I tried to imitate Hozuki's level-headed demeanor. The one that made you shiver. Come on, this information isn't such a big deal, is it? That gave us even more reason to leave the town. Very well, next question. I'd like to ask about a man named Isono. You know, the one who was rowdy at the execution site. The one with the long bangs. What's the situation with him? The man remained quiet for a while, but then spoke. He must have decided that spilling one bit of information was no different from spilling two. So he hadn't been caught yet. That was good. Sorry about this. The man let out a short scream, then ceased his movements. Just then, the tree trunk in front of me suddenly lit up. So his companions had showed up. I could probably take up another 5 people at once, even if I were surrounded. I turned around, offering a silent prayer. Well, if it isn't my lucky day. There were at least 10 of them. 10 of them that I could see, that is. Piece of cake. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that.
ケンイチ、遅いね。
しっきりになっていた銃声も止んだわね。
様子、見に行こうか。
ダメです。待ちましょう。
でも、夏美は待つの得意だからね。逆に私は苦手。ぐいぐい攻めちゃうもんね。心配だよ。
たく、こんなにいい女たちを待たすなんて。しつけが足りなかったのかしら。
Sorry about that.
ケンイチ
Don't worry. I just got hit in the head. Oh, and it took a couple of bullets in my shoulder inside. Right. My head reeled at Sachi's shrill voice. Yeah, well, the badness isn't gonna end anytime soon. They escaped in order to call reinforcements. We need to get moving too. I clasped a hand to my pain abdominal region.
ケンちゃん、手当てを。
We have neither the time nor the equipment. The pain spread out from my right shoulder when I shook my head.
こんなところまで来て、一体どうしようっていうの。
One-chan seemed to be prepared for whatever happened. I really did need to stop somewhere and get treatment along the way though. I gave everyone a jovial smile. Well then, here's the question. It's about that piece of shit Higuchi Ken. The guy who ran away from here 7 years ago. The town was like a prison at the time. It was surrounded on all sides by mountains and occupied by military forces. So just how did he escape from it? They were all startled in different ways. Sachi, I'm sure you know the answer.
私
We explored that cave together, didn't we?
洞窟。
なるほどね。
Toka, please recite the town's history.
だから、もともと金が取れるからって罪を負った人たちがたくさん住み着いていて。
Right. There are a lot of man-made tunnels in these mountains.
それが町の外までつながってるっていうの？
Yeah. The people back then were pretty desperate. Desperate to break out of their prison. I discovered it by chance 7 years ago. One-chan had told me about the cave itself, but I'd never imagined that there would be a secret passageway in it. And thanks to that, I had escaped death. Let's go. I squatted down to carry One-chan. A dull weight pressed upon my knees. It was probably because of my fatigue.
ケンイチ、私がおんぶするよ。
No. You go on ahead, Sachi. You're used to caves, aren't you?
でも、ライトとか専用のスーツやロープもなしで行けるの？
Actually, I took a flashlight from one of the enemies earlier. Don't worry, I managed to reach the end without any equipment at all, and I was just a kid. I chided her, then looked at all 4 of them in turn. Their eyes told me that this was the end. The end of our little prison break. Let's go. We were not running away. We were advancing toward the future. Future, huh? The temperature inside the cave had fallen with the season. The moist air clung to one's skin. Our footing was unstable. Grotesque stalagmites impeded our advance at every turn.
こんなの超楽勝じゃん。
Sachi, who was leading our group, spoke happily. Not even the situation could kill Sachi's smile. She walked ever forward, bestowing her light upon the cave flooded with darkness. I suddenly recalled the events of that night. I remember how she had taken up her brush in a desperate attempt to protect Mana, an almost reckless sort of strength. Sachi.
あい
You idiot, don't turn around. You'll fall down on your ass.
なになにやっぱ愛の告白
One-chan giggled on my back. Damn it, I was gonna say something, but you made me forget it.
やっぱケンイチは照れた時が可愛いね
Your provocations no longer have an effect on me.
成長したんだね
She approached me laughing.
あーもう超好きあー強引にでも奪っとくんだったサチさっちゃんちくしょう略奪愛ブームだったか
I stiffened up. I couldn't help but feel that this was all a bit out of place. Sachi continued her rambling amid the darkness.
いやいや私には絵があるからね
Sachi looked down. Her rough breaths dissipated into the blackness. You're doing your best. I found my mouth loosening into a smile. She pointed a finger filled with life in my direction.
ビッグになってママに最高の絵を見てもらうんだ
Her exultation was drenched with vigor. That day felt as if it were only yesterday.
ケンイチ大丈夫
We had already walked a considerable distance. We were currently taking a break, resting ourselves on the cave floor. Toka put her hand on my shoulder, preventing me from falling asleep. Toka had conducted herself with dignity and courage in the face of hell. And right now, she was placing her hand against my bleeding, tipped shoulder in the same way.
こんなところで寝たら風邪をひくだけじゃ済まないよ
Ah, that was close. I could have died there.
私命の恩人
Don't push it, stupid.
あ
She looked away, sulking. I spoke to her, wanting her to turn back around. Alright, about Kyoko-san. It looks like they took her to the city after all. Don't worry, we're gonna rescue her. She must have been worried sick about her mother, and yet she had not even mentioned it once since our escape from the dungeon. She was placing priority on our safety. You can meet your parents once we get out of here and make it to the city.
会いたいね
She grabbed onto my sleeve. What is it?
みんなが休んでるうちに言うね知っての通りなんだけど私ケイイチのこと好きだから
Damn you! Damn you, visual novel! This is not the time to be confessing love, you fools! Yeah. Really now?
でもねケイイチ
Huh? Her confession had sent me into a state of disarray. As such, I almost missed her next words.
みんなと違って私には大切な家族もいるからそういう意味で寂しくはないんだよ
Yeah.
私はみんなが大切ケイイチも大切だけどお母さんも大切友達も大切選びようがないくらいに大切なものが多いんだそれってちょっとわがままだと思うけれど損をすることもあるかもしれないけど
She smiled as she had at that time. She smiled to forgive the entire world.
それでも私は幸せなんだよ
She declared it without hesitation. She She had begun walking on her own 2 feet, together with her mother. She had made her decision at the dinner table. One-chan's breathing was beginning to thin. As for me, the throbbing in the shoulder where I had been shot wasn't stopping. I was getting really unsteady on my feet. I felt like I was about to faint.
ケンちゃん、こっちだよ。
Natsumi held her hand out to me. I couldn't make her palm out clearly within the darkness, but her warmth got through to me nonetheless. I could not take her hand, because I was supporting One-chan. I wanted to touch her, but I could not. I'd felt that same sense of distance when I had made my decision. Natsumi's hand forced its way through the darkness.
そばにいるよ。
Its light enabled me to proceed forth. Nachan, how are you liking the cave? Is that a... Are you serious? Stop asking stupid questions, dude. It seems like you could live happily even here. Her expression was blank. You hurt me, didn't you? That smile of hers would be able to make flowers bloom even in here.
でも、やっぱりみんなケンちゃんが大好きなんだね。ケンちゃんはさ、
What?
私を何番目に好きなのかな？
You know, Natsumi, there shouldn't be something called the love scale. You know? Don't tease me. She waved her hand at me, giggling like a child.
真っ暗だけど、ケンちゃんがそばにいるね。
She wanted to make the answer to that clear.
触れられなくても伝わるんだね。
Yeah.
だからケンちゃんがどこにいても私は大丈夫だよ。
Nachan? Natsumi's yellow ribbon fluttered royally.
夏が来て暑くなって少しだけ雨が降って田んぼは青々しくて風が吹くと緑の匂いがしてケンちゃんみたいな友達がいて。
It was a season where sunflowers withered, and one was blossoming before me.
何にも変わらないけれどそれだけでもいいんだよ。
She focused her beautiful eyes on me
それだけでもいいんだよ。
and repeated herself. I had received her warmth at the cliff of our childhood. I'm glad that I was able to return it to her at the end of summer. Me too, Ken. Me too. We had reached an area with a hole overhead. Wind whistled through it.
まだなの。
Just how long had we spent in here? My body felt extremely heavy. My legs burned just from walking.
あとどれくらい？ちょっと休んだ方がいいんじゃないかな。行き止まりですね。
I combed through my memory, my head foggy. I remember there being a few small branches along the path, but it had been mostly just a straight path. There was no way that we could have gotten lost.
もしかしてさ、この縦穴がまさかの出口。
Looking up, I could see some light leaking in at the top of the wall.
冗談だよね。こんなの登れるわけないよ。
At a glance, it seemed to be around 150-foot climb. How much is that in centimeters? $4,500 centimeters? Gosh. That's quite, Is it? I don't think that's actually all that high, right? Oh, okay, ignore me. That's high. That's high. My math conversion was not working. Holy shit, that's high. One-chan's pain spurred me to search. This was odd. The natural cave should have joined with the tunnel right about here. And then we would reach the outside. Despite this, our path remained obstructed. I gasped, watching Sachi tilt her head upward into the light. Unlike natural caves, man-made tunnels can collapse easily due to earthquakes or even gas leaks. They're extremely dangerous. There had probably been a cave-in. There was debris everywhere. Natsumi seems to have realized it as well.
これって通路だったんじゃないの？そんな。
One by one, we sunk into despair. One-chan slipped off my back to the ground. 7 years, huh? The darkness gnawed at my wound. Sweat dripped down my back. I got to thinking. What do we do? Should we turn back? But what's awaiting for us if we turn back? Well, the security police, of course. And they were just itching to kill us. I was in no condition to fight them any further. I looked overhead. The day must have been dawning. The light from the crack was growing ever brighter.
登れませんかね。
さすがに無理だよ。この壁って確かに掴めそうなくぼみがたくさんあるけど、この高さを命綱なしで登ろうだなんて途中で落ちたら死んじゃうよ。
Yeah, it was nothing like the wall I had climbed with Sachi. It wasn't completely vertical, but it seemed to be at a 70-degree angle. Climbing it without a rope would be suicidal.
というより体力が持たないでしょうね。
Ah, sorry.
満身創痍というより体力が持たないでしょうね。登りきる前に力尽きるわ。
But Natsumi continued.
はしごがあれば登れませんか？
だからどこにはしごが？
Natsumi interrupted Sachi with a point of her finger. Something was twinkling in reaction to our flashlight.
これ違いますかね？
Sure enough, there was a ladder. A lifeline to hell, huh? It dangled against the wall, shaking calmly with the wind. This cave was pretty moist, but it wasn't rusted yet. Someone left it here. And what's more, recently. I got the feeling that we were grasping at straws, but I looked up at the sky anyway. Sachi was thinking the same thing. A small pebble tumbled down, along with some dust. Huh? I couldn't help but think that this was a joke.
森田よ、必ずここを通ると思っていたぞ。
This went beyond a mere joke, though. I shook the cave with my shout. Damn you, Sono!
さすがです。
磯野？なんで？
僕だってケンがどうやってこの町を脱出したのか興味があったのさ。もともとこの町に坑道があるのは知っていた。だからこの1ヶ月の間、僕はこの山の洞窟を調べに調べ上げた。そうしたらここを見つけたってわけさ。まったく僕が体力ないのは知っているだろ。真っ暗な洞窟を探検して怪物とバトルしてやっとの思いでつい昨日この縦穴を登ってはしごを設置することができたんだ。
So Sono had been fighting his own battles while we were dealing with Hosuke. I couldn't wipe the grin off of my face. I craned my head and upward and spoke. Well done, Isono. Kyoko-san is now yours. Just make sure you don't talk about the romance of the Three Kingdoms on your first date.
僕に色恋沙汰を解くとは君も成長したね。信じてたよ。必ずここまで来るってね。
Thanks.
さあ登ってこい。地上はもう夜明けだ。テントを張ってご飯を用意して待ってるよ。
Yeah. The light had been getting pretty strong. Hey, Sono. Is there a rope or something up there? I need to tie it around someone. I'll need to ascend a ladder with One-chan on my back.
怪我人がいるのか？
Yeah, thanks. Isuna had given me that survival backpack back when I had gone caving with Sachi. I just knew that he had stuff prepared for us now, too. A slender string soon fluttered down the shaft. A tape sling, eh? I put One-chan on my back once more, then coiled the sling around our bodies, securing hers to mine. Okay, we'll climb it one by one.
ケンちゃんが先に登ってよ。
No. I brush her off with a wave of my hand. Take a look at the bottom part of the ladder. It's not secured. Someone needs to make sure it doesn't blow around in the wind. I can't let you guys climb it by yourselves.
でもケンイチはリリコさんを背負ってて。
Climbing this height without a safety rope is dangerous enough as it is. Please understand. I finished tying One-chan to me. Now I could use both hands. Don't look down. Just go at it slow. One foot after another. It was pretty dangerous. We didn't exactly have any other options.
よーし、私から特攻してみるよ。
She grabbed the ladder.
ここを登れば絵になるような綺麗な世界が広がってるのかな。
She turned back and asked me something. I didn't answer her question, but I did say, Sachi, you can paint anywhere. Sachi gave me a faint smile, then turned back toward the wall. She advanced without looking back. Toka held the ladder. Sachi advanced step by step. Don't fall, Sachi, please.
さっちゃん、さっち。
Everyone closed their eyes and prayed for Sachi's safety. We were nervous every time the ladder shook, every time a rock fell from the wall.
どうやらたどり着いたみたいね。
A lively voice reached us from above. I felt a sense of relief. Alright, next is...
私が行くよ。
Please, just this once. Spare us from your patented thoughtlessness.
ぶっ壊すぞ。
Toka spoke, holding her hand against her chest.
大丈夫。私には登りたいものがたくさんあるから。
She gripped the ladder with steady hands. She placed her foot on the first rung. She did not tremble. After she climbed a few steps, Natsumi grabbed the ladder.
頑張って。まだまだいじめ足りないんだからね。
I thought I heard a laugh. Her figure gradually became smaller. One-chan pressed her face tightly against me. She must have been frightened. I would have patted her head if I could.
朝日が綺麗。
I looked up.
確保。
Looked like Isona had pulled her the rest of the way up.
よかった。
Alright, you're up next, Sna-chan.
上で待ってるね。
We looked at each other. I'll be there soon. Natsumi abruptly approached me. I could feel her breath. She lightly kissed my cheek.
大好きだよ。
You're making me feel awkward. I could hear One-chan clearing her throat.
じゃあね。後でね。
Natsumi started climbing the wall, a smile upon her face. I immediately moved to support the ladder. Natsumi climbed the ladder like a monkey climbing a tree. I wonder if she's enjoying this.
可愛い子ね。
Somehow, I didn't feel the least bit frightened. I shut my eyes for just a second. A variety of things went through my head. We had barely gotten any sleep. Our fatigue had reached its peak due to our little stay in the prison. And yet no one had complained. We had come this far by supporting each other, by supporting our friends.
ケンちゃん。
Oh! One-chan and I both sighed in admiration.
確保したぞ。さあ、最後だ。
早く上がってきなよ。みんなでご飯食べよう。ケンちゃん。
I shouted toward the light seeping into the cave. Wait for us! We'll be there soon.
やっと。
One-chan sounded a bit more animated than before. I made sure that she was fastened tightly enough.
すまないわね。ってなんだか謝ってばっかりかな。
You said it yourself, right? One day, you'll be the one standing in front of me.
その通りになったわね。さすが私の弟だわ。
I'm just paying back what I owe you. You return the gratitude of the people who help you. That's what keeps this world turning smoothly.
ずいぶん余裕そうじゃない。
I sure am. Even though I couldn't feel my arm or stomach any longer.
やっぱり世界で一番あなたの背中が安全ね。
I could hear boisterous voices at the top of the wall. They were excited that they had obtained freedom. I needed to join them. I reached out toward the ladder. I immediately jumped back from the wall. I stood dumbfounded. I had no idea why this had happened. There had been no warning. The ladder had simply come tumbling down to the floor with a crash. Do you think it broke?
そうね。事故があったみたいね。
Hey! Isono! My shout echoed. There was no response. Why? They were so festive just a second ago. Hey guys, this is a bit too much for a joke. A sharp pain... Oh, sorry. A sharp pain stemming from my very bones coursed throughout my entire body. Ugh, come on. If there was an accident, then at least toss us down a rope. One-chan's breath trembled uneasily. I just didn't get it. No assistance reached us. Our friends did not respond. The 4 people at the top of the wall had vanished like an illusion. We had no way forward, even though the exit was right in front of our eyes. We had only the harsh reality that our path to escape had disappeared.
ケン、引き返しましょう。
Go back? To the town?
ええ、2人ならそう目立たないだろうし、なんとかなるんじゃないかしら。
We would not have been able to escape the eye of the security police. The official entrance to town was sure to be completely barricaded. Turning back meant returning to that cell. We couldn't have that. Not after coming this far. Coming. It was just another step. I grit my teeth. I forced my battered leg into action.
ケン、
I ignored her and stared up at the sky. I used the light streaming in to determine how difficult it would be to climb the wall.
まさか。ケン、
Climbing this wall would come at the price of severe pain. I could deal with just pain though. If my arms were to go numb though.
ちょっと待ちなさい。この高さよ。
Yeah, it's damn high, alright. And if I fell, One-chan would tumble from my back, resulting in her death.
よく考えなさい。地上から反応がなくなったということは、この絶壁の上で何か良くないことが起こっているということよ。
I knew that.
危険に飛び込んでいくということなのよ。たとえ登り切ったとしても無駄になるかもしれないのよ。
My sister was absolutely correct. Something terrible must have happened to silence them. Which mean that my friends were in danger. I was done hesitating. I grabbed a hold of a rock. I can't just run away a second time, you see. He extended his arms, reaching for the tips of the rocks spread out before him. Climbing this wall with one's bare hands, without even a safety rope, was beyond absurd. Death lay in wait for him, using the darkness as its cloak. Kenichi challenged the precipice, the pain from the wound on his shoulder nearly unbearable. He had acquired a strength far beyond what he was capable of, a strength for the purpose of obtaining escape. The rocks chaffed at his palm, blood poured from it. His stomach shrieked with pain each and every time he pressed it against the wall of the cavern. Perspiration poured from his brow without end, flooding his eye sockets. A staggering pain attacked Kenichi's eyes. I must face straight ahead. He ascended the wall, thinking only of that. However, A dazzling light flashed to his eyes. For a moment, his vision went black. He calmed himself, gazing at his reddened hands. Blackened flesh lay beneath his torn fingernails. Ririko's shivering breath hit the back of his neck. She had been doing nothing but calling his name. That word alone held all of her hopes. She felt miserable simply being carried by him. It was as if she were mere luggage. She began to sob apologetically, again and again. It was impossible for him to dispel his terror of falling. The weight of his sister invited Kenichi into the darkness below. He could not look downward, but he knew that he had climbed far enough that a single slip meant instant death. Kenichi suddenly had an idea. He spoke up, directing his words to the cliff face. "Man, I love climbing." Ririko groaned in response to his words. "You know, my body won't even let me look down." His sister resumed calling her brother's name. Do not look back at the past. There's nothing but darkness there. However, darkness was most likely lurking in the future as well, at the top of this cliff. His precious friends were waiting for his help. It was a race against time, but he was in no hurry. Kenichi's climbing technique was a steady one. He confirmed his next foothold, calmly secured his balance, and then proceeded to search for the next. A particularly fragile hold gave way beneath his bloody palm. You could only call it bad luck. Kenichi slipped down the cliff, experiencing all the fear of a surprise attack. He flew through the air. The force of gravity and friction from the rock wall were enough to deprive Kenichi of his senses. His sister's unintelligible screams echoed through the cavern, finding no audience. "One-chan!" He grabbed onto something. It was a crevice in the rock. Kenichi managed to stop his descent. His body suffered the pain of 1,000 lashes. He slowly opened his eyes and sharpened his blurred vision. "It's alright, One-chan." He thought he said something like that. His sister's response was something less than a word. She had seemed so large when he was a child, and yet the girl clinging to his back was very tiny indeed. She could not halt her sorrow. It was as if a dam had burst.
私を殺してお願い
Forget about me. It's impossible. If you leave me behind, you can live on, Ken. Please. It wasn't like her. Kenichi felt something ache into anger for a moment. Even so, his words were gentle. Did you forget? He regained his balance and continued speaking. I told you that I would help you out. He had said that on a summer day on which his sister had departed for university. She had told him that she wouldn't forget it. Ririko fell silent, aware of her own weakness. Kenichi's arm was beginning to go numb. He reached out for another rock all the same. He could only barely put power into anything beyond his wrist. But he had to. He clenched his teeth and grabbed the rock. As he was lifting his anguished body, the sensation of his right leg disappeared. Move! Move! His body offered no response. You've got to be kidding me. I've got to save my sister here. The darkness of the cave seemed to thicken around him. The brilliant light of the morning sun streamed in from above, and yet everything was dark. Again? He pressed his head against the wall, rebuking himself. Are you telling me that I can't save my friends? Again? It hurt. It burned. It was vexing. It was bitter. Kenichi found himself crying. So he still had the energy to cry. His body ate away at his will. I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up. Kenichi shut his eyes, his sister still upon his back. His entire body was floating away.
ケンイチ頑張れ
It was Sachi, but his eyes were already shut.
ケンイチ頑張
It was Toka, but his eyes were already shut.
れケンちゃん頑張って
Not even Natsumi's vivid voice could reach Kenichi, for his eyes were already shut. Even so, a warm voice still called to him. Of someone. Someone was calling him. In a broken voice, it was barely more than a gasp. Think of someone. It felt like the voice was right beside him.
こうやって瞳を閉じて誰かを思うのしっかりしなさい
He opened his eyes, shocked. He had been crying, and yet his face was dry. His heart beat violently in response to his sister's command. A mysterious heat filled his chest. His sister coughed painfully, and then she shouted to him.
もうすぐなのよ
Kenichi continued his ascent. He climbed ever upward, driving doubts from his mind. His right leg would not move, but he had to climb.
諦めないで
His sister continued shouting. The girl who had been thrashed to the very throes of death continued shouting. His fingernails were long gone. His fingertips themselves rebelled against the prospect of gripping the stones. But he had to grab them.
ならできる
His eyes began to close of their own accord, weary from the sweat, tears, and dust. But he had to look ahead.
私の弟でしょ
He had to answer her. Everything was painful, but he wanted to help. He couldn't let them die. It didn't matter how terrible the crime of his past made him feel. It didn't matter what bleak future awaited him in a real country. Kenichi's chest twisted with emotion. He sent his final request surging through his body. No matter what, he had to move forward. Before long, his hand grasped something steady. It was bathed in light. Gotta love these anime moments, man. A meadow opened up before my eyes as I exited the cliff. And I love that song. It smelled the same as it had 7 years ago. Yes, 7 years ago. I'd been picked up at this very spot 7 years ago. And just like 7 years ago, Hozuki Masaomi was standing there. I surveyed the situation. My senses were ready to give out on me at any moment. A military helicopter sat in front of me. Next to it was a tent, presumably the one Isona had prepared. Natsumi and the rest lay scattered on the ground. So he had gotten here before us. I wanted to speak, but my mouth wouldn't open. Nice going, Pops. I guess I should have killed you after all. Onechan gasped, still on my back. Hozuki gazed silently at me. What did his eyes desire from me? I had pulled the rug out from under him in the prison after all. Did he intend to capture me? Or maybe just kill me?
登り切ったか
His voice was filled with admiration.
そうか登り切ったかそうか
He nodded again and again, confirming it for himself.
登り切っても暗い未来が待ち構えていると知っていてなおまっすぐに進んできたか
Hozuki cast his eyes downward. He sighed pensively.
もはやお前に教えることはない
Eh?
お前は牢獄で私を破ったそして今私の元を離れているそれだけのことだな森田よ一つだけ聞いておくこれからお前は大事な姉と共にこの国に挑むのかそれとも 日向たちと共に自然体で多くを望まなくとも幸せな人生を過ごすのか。
Kosuke's eyes were unusually peaceful. I closed my eyes and searched for the answer to what would be my teacher's final question for me. What I desired was to... I don't know, man. I feel like reforming society is a bit too much for me. Wouldn't you think? As biased as I am, this is not just a one-person story, is it? I spoke. Who knows? I haven't decided yet. My lips ached, but I had to speak. More importantly, I'm pretty hungry. Can we save the difficult stuff for later? Kosuke spoke, understanding my thoughts.
ふざけた返事だな。
He threw something in my direction. It was the memory stick that he had taken from me. Why? I was surprised.
わからん。
He spoke calmly and turned his back on me.
三郎の遺産は息子に返さなければな。
He walked off in a dignified fashion. His back approached the helicopter. His hand went toward his breast. Kosuke flung his wrist to the side. Something sparkled in midair, then vanished into the greenery.
終わったわね。
Yeah. For the time being, everyone seemed to be safe.
動ける。
Enough to tell everyone that we made it at least.
そう。
I felt her breath against my ear. Her warmth filled my body. I began to feel very tired.
少しだけ眠らない？
A little bit.
そう。少しだけ目を閉じてみんなと一緒に休みましょう。
If you say so. I nodded groggily.
おやすみ、ケン。よく頑張ったわね。
Yes. Yes, Ririko. It's 7:30 a.m. Oh boy, we made it to 8 hours of recording. Good night, One-chan. We shut our eyes at the same time. It didn't matter that One-chan and I had been on death's doorstep. It didn't matter that the Sunflower Girls had obtained their freedom. And it wouldn't matter what sort of reforms swept through society. The sun would continue to rise in the Wheel Country. It was so natural that it was irritating, and yet endearing. Whew! That was long. That song when we're climbing though, like, that's one of the moments that I don't think I could ever forget. That song itself was just amazing. It's an amazing song. I did forget about the feeling of giving up though. I should be glad that I played this when I was younger. Because... then again, because I was younger, I didn't know the nuances that the game really had, truly. That goes for everything really, not just visual novels. I start to question what it was that I liked when I was a kid. I kind of felt like what I like as a kid was pretty like shallow. I like a girl for her looks, you know, in my games. I like a character just because of how they look. I like a game because of their gameplay. Doesn't mean that that's wrong. I'm not saying that that's wrong in any way. If you guys feel that way towards something, I feel like that's okay. I personally think that's not how I want to think anymore. I want something, you know? I want something that'll make me feel something. And this game, even after 10 years, it definitely did. Some parts are like dragged on, I have to say. But that's because I'm reading through everything out loud. This is something I only feel because I'm the one that's reading it out loud. If I was just reading this on my own time, that would not be an issue at all. Because I finished this game in just like 2 to 3 days when I was younger, you know? This would not be a problem if I was just playing normally. It's only an issue because of how I play. Can't lie though. Voicing the dialogue during that climb, it made it a lot more epic. I enjoyed it. I didn't say much about like Natsumi's chapter 4 arc, by the way, but I really do like that. Man, to be completely honest though, if I was in Ken's shoes, I would have given up a long time ago. For sure. The day had finally come. Let's continue that kiss. One-chan had told me that. Perhaps I was simply too nervous about what was going to happen the next day. Perhaps she just wanted to cheer me up a little bit. The room was darkened. Light from outside shone in on One-chan. She whispered my name. One-chan eased herself onto the sofa with a creak. Oh shit, is this what I think it is? Well, yeah. This is definitely a sex scene. See, this is one of the reasons why I don't think sex matters in this game. Because we played through everything and then you get to the sex. That's like, what? 20 hours, 30 hours of story to get to the sex scene? You're fucking kidding me. No one would play this game just for the sex scenes. You know? That's what I think anyway. Unless you're some crazy cuckold guy. My body reacted to her word. I'm probably just gonna skip this one. Or, you know, edit it out for you guys. So... Alright, I think we're Gucci. You know, the sex scene in this game is actually not all that long. I think that was like, what? 5-minute read? Daybreak was near. How many dawns had passed us by since we left the town of the sunflowers, I wonder? It wasn't a bad sex scene, but it just felt kind of awkward. Especially that we were, you know, we were banging Ririko instead of any of the three other girls. Hozuki and the security police had withdrawn, and so the town had returned to peace. After we awoke in the meadow, we had each started walking on our own separate paths. I was living together with my sister in the city. We had spent 3 years with only each other for comfort. To my surprise, One-chan had been granted amnesty from her obligation. Isoda told me that this was because Hozuki Masaomi had made some pretty big moves in the political spectrum. Isoda was currently my biggest supporter. After we had obtained our freedom, we had started using my father's inheritance to do that which only we could do.
緊張してたでしょ
About what?
エッチの時
Can we stop talking about that? I wonder.
明日が本番かと思うと燃えるわね
Are you talking about sex again?
ちょっと親父臭くなったわね
Can't help it. I've been hanging out with a lot of geezers recently. My jokes are getting pretty lame.
そういえばちゃんと献金は受けられたの
Yeah, I'm pretty terrible at burning people up though. I looked down. So, Nei-chan, how are our supporting organizations doing?
抜かりはないわケンもいやケンイチも明日の演説内容は考えてあるんでしょうね
I told you, Ken is fine when we're alone.
そうだったわね
We couldn't have Higuchi Saburo's son running for president now, could we? Running for president? What are we, in a democracy? No, hell no. One-chan had forged herself a new idea as well. She was currently working as my secretary. Man, talk about shady pasts.
バレたらまた極刑かしらね
Well, if that happens, we can just escape to a foreign nation.
軽いわね本当にこの国を立て直す気があるの
Now, to be honest, I'm not really thinking of anything too big.
衝撃的発言ね
I knew that she found it appalling on some level. Back during my exam, I had a pretty negative attitude about things. I thought that pretty much everything in this world of ours was twisted.
そんなことないと思うけどケンはもっと冷静だったわ
No, I was really just a child.
エッチに関してはね
Shut up! God damn it, can you stop talking about that? She giggled like a fool.
それともつまらない大人になっちゃったの
That's not it either. I just learned something.
何を言いなさいよ
How to accept things. The world sucks. That's what everyone says. And everyone says that we have no choice but to start over again.
でも実際に行動する人はいないって
Nah, that's not exactly it. I inclined my head, searching for an answer. That tried to smash the country to bits, right?
もうちょっと小声で話したら
Oh yeah. Politicians must assume that they are being monitored at all times. It's a tough life. Anyway, that idiot was trying to rebuild society from scratch.
そうね
But I don't think that's possible. I thought about my father, who had died trying to reform our country. I don't think you can just reset society like that. Crimes are crimes and the past is the past. Those are immutable facts. There are a damn lot of unjust laws in this country, but it leaves scars behind if you try to fix them too hastily. She had afforded me her undivided attention.
ズバリ聞くけど
Or not.
あなたにとって政治家って何
An occupation that involves trying to change people. I said it clearly. And that's why it can be seen as such a powerful position. Because basically, you can change yourself and you can change the future, but you can't change other people or the past. This time she really did listen silently. It was a bit embarrassing, really. I wasn't trying to say anything grand. We need to take our time. Society, the workings of man are, in reality, quite slow. Have you ever just stood and watched the sun go by? It's like that. Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Well, not that I've done that. But if you're busy, then bang! The sun is gone before you even realize it.
でも実際は太陽はゆっくりと24時間かけて動いているわね。
Yeah. That's relativity for you. That's one of those immutable facts I was talking about. Trying to change the past is like trying to make the day have 30 hours. However, humans are different from nature. They have wills of their own. Well, I suppose it's possible that nature has a will too, but...
意志とは未来を変えようとする力ね。
I wanted the one to be to be the one to say that.
つまり社会を立て直すにしても人を変えようとするにしてもそれはすごくゆっくりと慎重にやらなければならないってことね。
Yes. Revolution, like independence caused by revolution, is quite scary because it's so fast. I forgot the other thing where you try to take it a bit more slowly. But I know there's like another method in terms of gaining freedom for a society. What was it? I don't think it's evolution. It's revolution in something. It's been a while, man. It's been a while since I've actually hit the books. Yeah. That's all I was trying to say.
なんだかすごい普通のことね。
It is pretty normal because it's in the books. I've read it before. Yeah. I'm not planning to make any extreme promises in a bid for popularity. Accept the way the world is now and change it slowly. Whether we're breaking it or reforming it, improving it or degrading it, we'll take it slowly and make it work. No. We'll definitely make it work. Then again, though, I don't think I'm the type that can actually make things work slowly. In like SMT games, I always tend to go towards chaos rather than neutral or anything. I always thought that neutral was... I don't know if you guys even play SMT, Shin Megami Tensei. But basically, I can't deny that being neutral has the most content. And it feels like you're not just inclined to like one ideology, in a sense. But it also means you don't have conviction. That's my honest opinion. One-chan nodded and looked at me.
剣ならできるわ。
Thank you very much. Crap, hearing praise made me bow reflexively now.
明日は投票日前の最終演説よ。頑張ってね。
You think it'd be okay to throw in a bunch of ad-libs?
滑るわよ。あなたのギャグはシュールな方向に行きやすいから。
God, the difference between my level of education and that of the ignorant masses is simply too great. We laughed together. There were many people supporting me. Not just Isono, Natsumi and the others. There were also people of my hometown. The people roused to action by my sister's speech. And above all, the man who left this memory stick behind. My father. I doubt I would have been able to even think about doing this without his inheritance. I couldn't afford to lose.
さて、もう寝ましょうか。難しい話は明日嫌ってほど聞かされるわ。
Yeah.
抱き合って寝ましょう。
She made a bewitching smile.
それとも、
No!
もう一回する？
My sister, the most important person in the world to me, was inviting me to do something with her. She was inviting me to have sex with her, inviting me to confirm my love for her. Can we please not do that? You know, maybe Kenichi's not wrong. Maybe I also have the same kind of awkwardness towards sex as Kenichi, in a way. Right? At least when it comes to sex with feelings. I still feel like sex isn't really a matter of showing your feelings, for the most part. But who knows? Maybe that's just because I fap too much. It's messing with my brain. Who knows? Probably correct. It does mess with your chemicals. You know, like there's some chemicals in your brain that happen. The will is ruled by the body, but the will also controls the body. I slowly approached One-chan. One-chan's slender arm coiled around my neck.
おやすみ、ケン。ずっと私を守ってね。
I shut my eyes, thinking of One-chan. How about that? 10 years into the future, man. And I still like this game. There's no such thing as society, huh? I don't know about that. Is there no such thing as society? There is. But I guess we shouldn't focus too much on it, right? That's probably what the game is trying to tell us. I think. But then again, who am I? I'm just making assumptions. What I think doesn't really mean like it's the truth. There was a reason why I gave this game a 10 out of 10, like on VNDB. Like, I might not have remembered the story 100%, but that's how humans are, right? Our memories are imperfect. But the feelings, if the feelings are still the same even after all these years, I think that's something. Feelings are irreplaceable, right? And this game showed me to me again. There's a lot of games that does that to me, or even some stories, not just games. It can be anything, really. It can be any media. You can read books. You can play a typical video game from a console, from a PC. Or even not even any sort of media, even like your own real life. If you hold something cherishly, you might forget about that feeling. And you might even need a reminder of that feeling actually existing. But it should still be there inside of you somehow. Then again, maybe this is just childish talk. Maybe it's just me not knowing what the fuck I'm talking about. It could also be that. And with that, I can't get this over with, so I'm gonna get Natsumi's ending. I'm sorry. As good as that was, my bias towards Natsumi is like, I can't, you know? You know this was coming, right? There's no way I'm not gonna get this ending. But you know, I kind of like what I just did. But doing an all-nighter like this, playing visual novels, kind of reminded me of the time when I was in high school or middle school. It was really nice. When I would just binge doing, you know, just reading visual novels. It feels awesome. I feel like this was the thing that I was missing the last couple of years. I quit reading visual novels in 2000, I believe 2005 or 2016, for around 2 to 3 years. Well, like, really reading visual novels like this. So, I really enjoy doing these. I'm glad I'm back to visual novels again. I really am. I just wish there was, like, I just wish I picked better stories to, like, record. Because the stuff that I've been reading is just not par for the course, you know? I was alone inside my dream. It was bitterly cold. I held my trembling body, trapped inside of my own consciousness. I was the only person capable of warming myself in this world. What do people call this? Solitude, or perhaps despair. Are you okay? It was nothing but a whisper. That whisper alone was enough to fill my body with warmth. Ah, thank goodness. This wasn't where I was meant to be. I was supposed to be over there. The world where yellow strained against blue. The world where my beloved resided. I slowly regained consciousness, beckoned by the voice.
おはよう、ケンちゃん。
Good morning. Hey, this is a bit sudden. Do you mind if I ask you something?
何？
Why is your face right next to mine? Furthermore, why am I using your lap as a pillow? I guess I don't mind.
耳かきの途中で寝ちゃったんだね。
Ear cleaning. Really? Actually, now that you mention it, yeah. Apparently, I was still half asleep.
怖い夢でも見た？
Huh? How'd you know?
うなされてたよ。ほら、汗もかいてるし。
She must have wiped the sweat from my forehead. Yeah, I have the feeling that it wasn't a very pleasant dream. Could you call it a nightmare? I don't know why, but in the dream, I was all alone. It was actually a bit strange. I felt like I'd never be able to leave that world.
そっか。よかった。目を覚ましてくれて。私、ケンちゃんがいないと嫌だよ。
Yeah. The reason why I liked you when I was younger was definitely because I longed for someone like you, Natsumi. And it seemed 10 years in the future, I still do long for someone like you. But sadly, my adult mind cannot indulge in such delusions anymore. I still like you, but I don't think I can like you like I did when I was younger. Indeed, no need to worry. How should I react? Her caring face was right in front of me. Natsumi's slap was so comfortable that I really didn't want to move, but I guess I had to at some point, huh? Resting on another person's lap is actually pretty exhausting for the other party. I stood up, still a bit reluctant to part. What time is it?
10時を回ったところだね。
10, which meant we're really late.
私たち、悪い子だね。
Why didn't you wake me up? Her smile made my heart beat so fast that it was criminal.
だって、ケンちゃんの寝顔見てたら、起こすに起こせなかったんだよ。寝顔とか、可愛いなって。
What the hell? You can't call a guy cute.
だって、可愛いんだもん。
Yeah. Too cute to argue with.
だよね。
Hey, I was talking about you, Natsumi. Yeah, well, I think we had better get a move on. I was at a bit of a disadvantage here. I hastily changed the subject.
学園に行くの？
I don't know. It seems kind of pointless to go now. I guess we can skip for today. Or would that offend the diligent Nachan's sense of decency?
ケンちゃんがいるなら、なんだっていいよ。
Her eyes were absolutely resolute. Yeah. Alright, Mr. Excitable, you can calm down now. You fixed us a lunch already, right?
ちゃんと2人分作ってるから。
I suppose that's supposed to be boxed lunch. And let's take those and have ourselves a picnic.
ピクニック？楽しそう。
Heck yeah, it does. So how about it?
行きたい。
Alright, let's top it off with a stroll then.
散歩ピクニック。そんな贅沢なかなかできないよ。
So those are luxuries, huh? Maybe. Actually, it was. I made plans for lunch with the slightly strange girl by my side. It had been about a year since Hozuki and the security police had left. The world was at war as usual, and the summer was hot as usual. so damn hot. Come on, son, show us a little mercy. I think I'm starting to understand all of the fuss about global warming. Well, it's hotter than last year at least. Why, I bet you'd be drenched in sweat after only a minute in this heat.
毎年聞きそうなセリフだね。
Hey, hey, I don't need the sarcasm. Just agree with me.
現実は厳しいんだよ。
You've grown a pretty sharp tongue. Agreed. Maybe the modest version wasn't so bad after all.
いい天気。
Nah, just kidding. Where do you want to go? It's still a bit early for lunch.
私はどこでもいいよ。
And I guess we'll just wander around a bit. I used to think that people who say that, you know, who just say, whatever, it's up to you. I always think that those people were careless and they never really give too much thought about the other party who asked the question. But seeing like this spectacle, it just made me think, yeah, it really just means that they're okay with wherever I choose. My brain, man. Doesn't mean that I can't stop thinking that way, though. That's just how I think. There wasn't much traffic at this time on weekdays. The shopping district was calm. Housewives and workers glared at us suspiciously. We were wearing our uniforms, so we stuck out like a pair of sore thumbs.
前もこんな風にしてサボったね。
Ah, that time I forced you out on a date with me.
でも全然違うね。あの時と何もかも違うよ。
We were holding each other's hands tightly. Our shoulders were touching each other. We were close enough to hear each other breathing. This is a lot closer to a date, eh?
そうだね。ドキドキして楽しくて嬉しいね。
Yeah. I could feel Natsumi. I wanted to remain like this. You're not scared?
怖くないよ。ケンちゃんがいるもん。
I see. Let's just keep on walking then. Is there anything you want to do?
私はこうやってケンちゃんといられればそれで満足だよ。
You know, to some degree, I can also see people arguing with me that, you know, picking Natsumi as the love interest in this situation means that Ken can't really break free from his past, right? Because the reason why he chose Natsumi, or in this case me, I chose Natsumi, is because I really like what they showed in Ken's past. I have to say though, I did not expect Sachi's arc, or chapter 2 of Sachi's arc, to be that good. I think her arc was really good. I don't necessarily think her as a character is that well made, but her arc was super good.
あとは手をつないでて時々肩がぶつかり合ったりとか。
Come on, Nachan, you can set your sights a bit higher than that. She suddenly stood up straight.
じゃあ私と一緒に散歩して。
That's all? We're doing that already, though. What do you have to ask now? In fact, I do believe I issued a proclamation stating as such before we left.
違うよ。もっと散歩だよ。
Beyond? And exactly what does going beyond entail?
すごくゆっくり歩くとか。
Sorry to crush your spirits, but walking really slow isn't what you call a stroll.
それは牛歩って言うんだよ。
That's right. What? You were expecting me to tell you that that's wrong?
違うの？
Did she want to be told that she was wrong? Well, it's not. I mean, you were talking about walking really slowly, right? Actually, I was confused at first, since you were calling it a stroll.
だからそれは牛歩だね。
What the fuck is a cow walk or cow stroll or whatever? What the heck is a cow walk?
ここまで来ちゃったね。
We had ended up making our way to the school without meaning to. I don't think we should go in there. Miss Kyoko would be pissed at us.
私も今の時間を楽しみたいよ。
We could hear happy laughter from within the school every now and then. I did not feel envious of them. Nor did Natsumi. Our eyes met.
行こ
Yeah. We stared at the school for a bit, then decided to leave. Now that I think about it, isn't this kind of romantic?
う。間違いなく合いびきだよね。
Huh. I hadn't meant for that to come out.
違ったかな。
She sounded very timid. It is. We're on a date after all. We walked off, holding hands once again. Oh, had to sneeze there. I'm sure most people would consider that an extremely stupid conversation. However, for us, it was an extremely happy and extremely embarrassing conversation.
そろそろ収穫の時期だね。
Rows of golden rice bent in the wind. Rice, eh? I'm sure you can make something delicious out of it.
頑張る。
She clenched her fist in front of her chest. This cute girl was my girlfriend. Just thinking that was enough to make me unbelievably flustered. I started running, still holding Natsumi's arm. We ran through the endless country roads together. Country roads? Why would you say that, Ken? Natsumi panicked at first, but she soon managed to keep up with me.
ケンちゃん、いきなり走り出すんだもん。
She looked a bit angry.
でも気持ちいいね。
I felt like we could keep running like this forever and ever. It was already starting to get dark by the time we reached the river. Sorry, I forgot that we were supposed to have a picnic. Time had passed us by in an instant. It's kinda late, but what say we eat now?
いいよ。あ、
What's wrong?
地面に引くビニールシートを忘れちゃった。ごめん。
Her shoulders drooped. You don't need to apologize. I took out a handkerchief and laid it out on the ground. Sit here.
でもケンちゃんが。
I'm fine.
じゃあ私も。
She changed her mind right before she was about to refuse.
ありがとう。
Good, good. You wouldn't want to become Japanese, would you? I mean, those guys are just way too reserved. Shut up, Ken.
ケンちゃんは何人だっけ？
I transcend races. I'm a perfect superhuman after all. We sat down next to each other. So, what do we have today? I opened the lunchbox. Oh! The box was filled with delicious-looking smoked ham.
結構上手にできたよ。
That's good to hear. Itadakimasu.
いただきます。
We watched the flowing river together. Our meal was calm and peaceful, just as our life together had been. I had already started forgetting that there was a 7-year gap between us.
なんか
Natsumi's chopsticks came to a halt. It's like...
なんかね。とっても幸せだよ。
There was a small weight against my shoulder. I looked to my side. Natsumi was leaning against me. She closed her eyes and muttered,
私こんなに幸せでいいのかな。
I put down my chopsticks and hugged her tightly. She was soft and warm. It's okay for you to be happy. I buried my face in her hair. It smelled beautiful. Can a smell really be beautiful? Ken, come on, dude. It's okay for you to be happier than anyone else.
そうかな。そんなこと言われたらもっと幸せになりたくなっちゃうよ。ケンちゃん贅沢だって怒るかもしれないよ。
You silly. Of course I won't. If you're happy, then I'm happy too.
どうして？
Come on, you know that already.
聞きたいな。
I brought my mouth right up next to her ear. Ugh! I'm gonna skip that.
本当？
You don't believe me? I guess I'll just have to repeat it until you do. Yeah, repeat it while I don't say it, Ken. Good.
聞きたい。何回でも聞きたい。
So I kept whispering it. Natsumi began to weep. She murmured that she was happy. I kept whispering those words to her as she squeezed my hand. No matter how many times I said it, I wasn't satisfied. Natsumi cried herself to sleep on my shoulder. I closed my eyes as well. I bet we'd become even happier if we could have the same dream. The world came into focus once more. We must have slept for quite a while.
綺麗な夕焼けだね。
See? Doesn't this feel more like a freaking epilogue rather than this stupid Ririko one? You just have sex and then she becomes your secretary while you try to become president? That's so stupid. This feels a lot more satisfying. Yeah. The sun was trying to hide itself from us. It was just barely peeking out from behind the mountains. You were awake? Think it's about time we head back? Neither of us moved. Because we were both so happy.
ケンちゃん、
Hmm?
もうしばらくこうしててもいい？
Yeah, sure. We can stay like this for a month, for a year, for the rest of our lives. Stop, Ken!
欲張りだね、ケンちゃん。
What about you?
生まれて死んじゃって生き返ってもかな。
And that's even more greedy, Natsumi. You're greedier than I am.
嫌だった？
Well, I don't mind at least. I drew Natsumi even closer to me.
ケンちゃん、
I breathed in her fragrance. Natsumi had finished washing the dishes and was about to return to her room.
ケンちゃん、私そろそろ帰るね。それで、よかったら送ってほしいな、なんて。暗いのが怖いとかじゃなくて、もう少しだけケンちゃんと一緒にいたいんだ。
No.
そうだよね。厚かましいよね。私一人で帰るね。ごめんね、変なこと言って。
Natsumi quickly began getting ready to leave. I called out to her firmly. Could you stay over? I want you to stay over tonight.
ケンちゃん。
She looked at me with insecure eyes. Nachan, you see, my face was on fire, but I spat it out. Ken, you can't make me say that, man. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
それって。
How would she answer? This was a bridge that we would have to cross eventually, but it might still have been too early. I started to regret my hastiness, but well, I couldn't do anything about what had already left my mouth. I held my breath and waited for Natsumi's answer. Would she deny me?
いいよ。ケンちゃんなら私。
My heart was beating so fast that my chest lit on fire. She had accepted. Natsumi sat down on my futon. I sat beside her, trying to calm myself. Okay. I'm just gonna edit this scene out, okay? I'm not... Gosh, it feels like I went back in time. I can't believe I'm embarrassed just looking at this. I thought I was Azai, the man who transcends all types of sexuality. I'll see you guys in a couple of seconds.
りがとう。ケンちゃんならいいから。恥ずかしい。
Gosh, that was a long scene. Even this sex scene feels a lot more satisfying than Ririko's, not gonna lie. They even had their own like CG for when they were kissing. I don't think Ririko even kissed this.
ケンちゃん。
Yes?
ケンちゃん。
Hey! Natsumi sidled up to me and used my arm as a pillow.
ケンちゃんだ。
She pushed her head against my chest, her eyes half closed.
ケンちゃんだよ。
You're pretty spoiled, huh?
熱い気持ちが抑えられない。少しでも触れ合っていないと不安になるの。
I see. I took her shoulder and drew her closer to me. I guess we'll just have to touch each other all the time. This is what you people call pillow talk, right? Basically after sex talk.
エッチって
Stop!
すごいんだね。
Stop talking about sex! Yep.
気持ちよかったね。
Hey, don't lie to me now. It hurt, didn't it?
うん。ごめん。最後の方はちょっとだけ気持ちよかった。
We need not talk about this. In that case, we'd better do it a lot so you get used to it.
エッチだよ。
It's just because you're so cute. Ken! You're making me... You're making me die out of embarrassment here.
ずるいな。
We kissed softly. We kissed again. We felt each other's warmth. There was no greater happiness than this.
でも、ケンちゃん、これでよかったの？
What do you mean?
ケンちゃんは、この国を救うようなことができたかもしれないんだよ。
Nah, it's fine. I decided to protect this girl. The girl who would never let go of her smile, no matter how crooked her society was. The sunflower girl. It's okay, Nachan. Natsumi looked just a bit worried, but then gave me a wide smile.
ありがとう。そばにいてくれて。
A lot had happened. It's true that I may have lost a few things, but I had obtained something that couldn't be measured. I had obtained someone precious to me, someone I would never let go. The clear blue sky stretched out forever. The sunflowers were blooming brilliantly. So, summer could be this beautiful. The girl ran through the sunflower field, blooming alongside them. Her vivid ribbon was not tarnished in the slightest. She closed her eyes, surrounded by the sunflowers. Yeah. Sunflowers really did suit her after all. She called out to me at the top of her lungs. Her smile put even the sunflowers to shame. She waved her hand and smiled shyly. I started running to her. I stumbled a bit, but that's okay. I ran toward the girl. I took a bit of a runabout route. That's okay. I set foot onto the field, a bit out of breath. Everything was for the sake of giving the sunflower girl a smile. For the sake of the flower that bloomed more brightly than any other.
私はケンちゃんが大好き。
You're making me embarrassed here, damn it. I like you too, Natsumi. And I felt like this was a good ending. This was a better ending than trying to do what's too much for a single guy to do. I'm fine with just having the this kind of happiness fits me just fine. You know? Just having a girl, doing something, nothing grand, like being president or destroying society. There's actually also a harem ending in this game, but it's kind of ridiculous how you need to get it. You basically have to manage the like point system in the game so that everyone is like the same in their like affection points. It's kind of ridiculous, so I'm probably not even gonna do it. And that's Sharin no Kuni, Himawari no Shoujo, a game that I played long ago, that I loved long ago, and I still love to this day. The 10-year gap proved to me that this is a great game. And I will probably also be playing the next game for Sharin no Kuni. Now that we're finished with Himawari no Shoujo, I can tell you about the next game, which is it's basically a prequel. It's about Hozuki's story. And our dad is there. So I don't remember it as much, but I don't think it's also that long. I think it's about half as long, or maybe not even half as long. Maybe like 1/3. Maybe even shorter. Maybe in like 10 hours you can finish it. But yeah, this has been a very, very nice read. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. I've been recording for 9 hours, and I have just enough time to go take a shower and get ready for work. So I will see you guys in that playthrough. Alright? Unless Rance comes out before then. But I highly doubt it. So, see ya.